In today's landing page from scratch video, we're gonna take a look at how to make this homepage. Hi, my name is Hanne from Thrive Teams, and today I chose the Craftsy homepage to make from scratch because it has some very cool elements. As you can see, first of all, we have a colored bar on top with a promo code. Next, a full screen image with a link, and then a 3-column layout. The following section is a full width image with a link to a video testimonial. And then here you can see this grid layout with different posts, and I'll show you how you can do this with your own blog posts. Then again, we have a full width image, and at the bottom we have an opt-in form. So this is the homepage that we are going to create in this video. We're going to start by creating a new page on the website. I call it Craftsy Homepage Tutorial. And if you have a Thrive theme, you'll be able to choose here the full width template. Next, I'm going to choose to hide the page title, to not show the breadcrumbs, and the rest we can leave as it is. And now I can save this draft and edit with the Thrive Content Builder. If you don't have a Thrive theme installed, you might not be able to choose for the full width template. And in that case, you can start from a Thrive landing page. So you go to Thrive landing pages, choose landing page, and in this case, you choose from the templates cloud for the blank full width page. The difference when you start from this template is that you won't have the menu on top of the page, but you can recreate it with the TCB elements. For this tutorial, I'm going to start with a full width template. So let's take a look at the different sections we will have to create on this page. As you can see, we will start with the first section with the colored background, the light blue color, and then we have an image section. So let's start with the first two. I'm going to start by choosing a page section, and I'm going to give this the light blue color. Next, as you can see, there is a little gap between the menu and this section, and so I'm going to play with the margin to take this gap out. I'm going to put a negative top margin of 45, and now you can see the little gap has disappeared. The next thing we want in this section is to put a text element with the promo code. Let's make this a little bigger. Center align it, and now take away the margin because we want this section to be as small as possible. We can delete this element. To make this section even smaller around the text, we're gonna adjust the line height. Make this 20. And now you can see this is a pretty narrow section. On the Craftsy homepage, this code is linked up to a page that explains more about the code. So we're gonna do the same. Select this and look for the page. I'm just gonna pick a random page on the website and insert the link. Now the second section is the one with this image, with the title, Join or Knit Along, and the Stitch and Learn title on it. So let's create that one. I will choose a new section. And when I click on the section, I can choose for a background image. For the sake of this tutorial, to show you that you can really make a page very similar to the Craftsy homepage, I copied the images. But of course, this is not something you want to do on your own website. This is really only for the tutorial. I insert this image as the background image, and I can choose here for the full height image. Next, I want to put the title on this image. So I'm choosing a text element and drag it in there. Let's make this a lot bigger. So a heading 1, probably around 72 pixels. And we're gonna align it on the right. We're gonna apply a margin to make sure that it's on the right height. And we're gonna make this element bold. On the Craftsy homepage, they are using Helvetica, so this is a paid font. I cannot use the same font because I didn't pay for it, but this one is pretty close. The next thing that we want on this image is the link. So let's put another text element in there. We're gonna align it also to the right. Put the text Stitch and Learn. Make this bigger. And to make sure that these are closer together, we're gonna take out the bottom margin of the biggest title, and I'm also gonna take out all the margins on this. And now we can link this up to the page that will give more information about the knit-along. So again, I'm just gonna choose a random page here, but this is how it looks like. Now that we have the picture with the text on it, the next element is a white background element. And as you can see, first of all, we have a title and an introduction. And this is more narrow than the images beneath it, than the 3-column layout. Let's see how this is created in the Thrive Content Builder. Also, as you can see, this is another font. This is more like a girly font that they used for this title. So we are also gonna adapt the font. We're gonna start with putting a new page section and giving this page section a white background color, so that you can choose here. And we're gonna put a content container in there so that we can make the title and the introduction actually smaller than the full width of the page. So let's make this 760 pixels. Put the title in there. Let's make this a heading 2, a line in the center, and we're gonna change the font of this title. So here what I did to make sure that it's as close as possible to the original, I went into the Craftsy page, used an extension that's called What's Font, and here when I hover over, I can now see that this is Harriet Display Black. The thing I did to find a similar font is I typed into Google Harriet Display Black and similar Google fonts. So that then actually gave me a Google font that's called Playfair. Now, to be able to use Playfair on your website, if you haven't used it already before, you simply click on the text element and go to Custom Font. From here, you choose Add New Custom Font. You will go to the Custom Font Manager from Thrive Themes, and you'll be able here to add a custom font. Next, I can show all fonts and choose Playfair. So the one I needed was Playfair Display, and then I can choose for the bold style. And so here it's a really bold one, so I would choose the 900 style and then simply save. I already did this, so I don't have to do it again. But you can see here Playfair Display and then the size, and now I'll be able to use this on my page. This is something you only have to do once, so if you want to reuse this font, it will be available in your font manager. Now let's go back to the page, select the text and choose the Playfair Display. Let's make this bold and bigger. And now we have something that looks pretty similar to the Craftsy one. This paragraph has to be a little bigger. It is center aligned and there is a little more space between the lines. So let's make this a little more line height. Next, we want the 3-column layout with the images, and this has to be larger than the text. So I won't put this inside the container, because if you can see, then the columns would be the same size. But I'm gonna take this element and put it in the page section, but under the container. So now you can see the columns spread to the total width of the page section and the text only to the width that we gave the container. So I can delete this element that calls it the page section. Next, I will put an image in there. This is our first image, and we'll make this center aligned. Now I can use this element as the text element, and both of these elements, we're going to make sure that these become links so that when somebody clicks on it, they go to the desired page. But first of all, let's make this text center aligned also. Let's make it bigger. So this looks pretty good. Let's make this a link. So click on the image, and then here in the link section, I can again link this up. And I will do the same with the text. Select and choose a page and link this up. And now I can repeat this for the other columns. So the easiest way to do this so that I don't have to style the text again is to copy. So I can copy the image and copy the text, and then I can simply drag and drop, and this will take all the margins and everything else that we changed. And now I can replace the images. And change the text. And take a look at the next section. Now that we have our section with the 3-column layout, we again have a section with a full width photo, and then we have some text on it and a button that goes to a testimonial page. So let's do that next. Again, we choose a new section, click on the section, choose the background image, insert the image and make it a full height image. And to be able to do this text layout like it is done here on the Craftsy homepage, with the first phrase that is aligned to the left and then the second phrase that is aligned in the middle of that text, and also the play button that is aligned in the middle of that text, we will have to use again a content container. So choose the content container, drag it on here, and we'll first put the text in there. Let's make this a heading. Make it a bit bigger. Let's bold it. Change the color to white. Oh, I didn't select this first one. So now it's white. Let's delete this element and let's apply a margin, a top margin, so that the element is in the right spot. Now, like I said, the second text element, so let's add that text element there and style that element. And we want this element to be in the middle underneath the I made the dress. So first of all, let's center align this. And as you can see now, this will center align depending on the full width of the content container. So first of all, let's make sure that our content container is aligned to the left. And then when we make this smaller, you can see that the element is now coming underneath the title. So we're gonna have a content container of about 436 pixels, and then you can see that the second element is underneath this in the middle. Now we still have to play around with the margin a little bit to get it closer together. So take out the top margin, and here we're gonna take out the bottom margin. And now the next element that we want is the image in there, is the play button. And this one is also center aligned and has a little bit more space above it. So we're gonna give it a little bit more place. So now let's save this again and check with the original. So this is what the original was showing, and that looks pretty close to what we just made. Now the next section is this grid section. So as you can see, we have like this big image and then we have 4 smaller images, and I'll show you how to do this for your own blog content. Let's put a new page section in there, make this a white background, and maybe you've noticed that on the Craftsy homepage there is like this background pattern on it, and so you can do this too. You can click on it, choose a background pattern, and here I copied the exact pattern that they were using. Again, you shouldn't be doing this because this is something that's copyrighted, but to make sure that we were as close as possible, you can insert your own background pattern. And now this applied to the whole section. You can also, in the background pattern, you have, like you can see, a lot of choices here from patterns that are available in the content builder. So you can use one of the pre-built patterns. So the next thing was again this type of element with like the title and an introduction. So I will copy this element so that I don't have to style it again, copy it and just drag it into this page section. Let's change the text. And now let's take a look at how we can build this grid layout. Here, delete this element. Now here, when you look at this grid element, you can actually see that we are going to use a 2-column layout to show this grid, because one of the columns is like this big image and the other one is with the 4 little images. So let's do that now. Choose for the 2-column layout. And next we're going to choose the element that is called post grid, because here we will be able to show our blog posts in the way we want. First of all, let's do the right column, click on the grid element, and here we're going to show only the featured image and the title. We don't need the text or the read more link. The number of posts that we want to show is only 4. And we're going to start by 1. I'll explain you with the other image why we're doing this. We order by date. If you want, you can apply filters, so you can choose here to show only certain categories or tags or whatever, but for the tutorial purpose, I'm not going to do this. And in the display settings, we're going to choose that this is a 2-column and this is a grid layout. So save it. And now you can already see that we get this layout with like the 4 images that are all linked up to your blog posts and with the title underneath. Now, to style this element, you click on it. And first of all, we're going to make the font size a little smaller. Let's make this 20 pixels. So as you can see, the title font became smaller. And for the images, I want them to be more squared, not so long, the images. So the max height, I'm going to put 200 pixels. So this looks more like what I'm going for. Here we have a text element that we can delete. And now we're going to do the same in the left column. We're going to put a grid again, but this time, so again, only featured image and title. But this time we're going to choose only 1 post and we're going to start by 0. This will allow you to have your newest post as the big image and to start with like the second newest post in the 4 images next to it, so in the left column. And this will update automatically each time that you have a new blog post. So again, in the filter sections, we don't need to change anything. And the number of columns we're going to display is only 1 column. So save this. And this will allow you to have your newest post as this big image and then the second newest post in this grid. We're gonna style this a little, so click on it, make the font a bit smaller and also the image. And now we have this cool looking grid with the biggest image and like the 4 smaller images next to it. And like I said, this will update automatically when you have new blog posts. The next section we're going to create is this full width picture with the big title and a link on it. So let's add a new page section, click on it, background image, insert the image, full height image, and now we're going to add a text element in here. Or actually, we can use the text element that's already in it, which is the one that says this is a page section, it's a text element. So we can paste our text in there. Let's make this text a heading 1, make it way bigger, center align it. We're gonna add a margin to get it lower on the image. And I'm gonna make this bold and we're gonna change the color also. Let's make this white again. Now we're gonna add the link. So I'm adding a new text element. Let's make this a heading 3, center align it, make it bold too, and change the color of this element to white. Let's make this a little bigger, and we can link this up to the page about pies. And now the last element that we want to add is this opt-in form. Put a new section in there, Click on it, we change the background color for this brownish color. Okay. And I'm gonna copy this title because it's already styled. So it's just easier. Now I only have to change what's written and the color. Make this white. Okay. There is some more text underneath this, so we can use this text element. I'm gonna make this text also a little bigger. So 20 pixels. Center align it. Make it white. And now we're gonna put an opt-in form. So if you have Thrive Leads installed, I suggest you use a Thrive Leads form because then you will be able to have the stats in your dashboard. But if you're not using Thrive Leads, you can use the lead generation form from TCB. Add this form in here. As you can see, we will have to style it a little bit. So you can click on it to style it. And first of all, we're gonna make this a horizontal form. Next, we're gonna style the button. So we can click on the edit components and on the submit button. And here, as you can see, we'll be able to change the text. So this one says create account. First of all, let me show you the button again. So as you can see here, the button is actually a border, so a white border, white text, and then with the same color of the background. So let's do that. Here we're gonna choose that we want a solid border of 2 pixels maybe. And to change the colors, we have to go into this color picker. And here the bottom background color has to be the same brown as the background. And the bottom border color should be white. And then we can also choose the hover effect. We're not going to change that now. So let's add a little bit more margin underneath here. And now let's make sure that this little white border between the footer and this section disappears. So click on the section and here you'll be able to have the margin. And we're gonna apply a negative margin to the button. So this makes the gap disappear. And to get the icons and the text elements in here, this is actually pretty easy when you connect with the service. So you create a new connection, you choose one of the API connections you already set up. Let's choose this one. And then when you arrive on this field, you will be able to show an icon and to choose the text that will show up in your forms. Make sure to show the name and the email as a display. Save it. And now you can see that you have the text in there, and if you want, you can have icons in there. Let's save and let's preview this page. So as you can see, we have the first colored section with the promo code. We have our image with the text on it. Then we have like the 3-column layout with the links to the different sections. We have our section with the testimonial that people can go to. Then we have this grid layout, another big photo, and we have our opt-in form. So I hope you liked this tutorial and that it gives you some insights into how to use the Thrive Content Builder to make a really nice looking homepage. Of course, if you have any questions, you can ask them below in the comments and I'll be happy to answer.